Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be with you again on this video for the second week of Advent. I'm feeling better most days and hope to be able to spend some time with all of you in the new year. But for now, here is our reflection for the second week of Advent. This past Sunday's readings are all about beginnings, and that's appropriate for Advent. However, this year, the idea of a new beginning might seem a little discordant, a little out of step with our times. We feel like we're more stuck in the middle of something, I think. The unusual practices and restrictions and isolations required by the virus have been going on for so long now that we might feel stuck in an unhappy rut. We might feel overwhelmed by it all. In fact, you know what? I hate the fact that I feel like I have to refer to the COVID no matter what I'm speaking about or writing about. But maybe that means that this is precisely the time to have a sense of, or some experience of, a new beginning. And the term new beginning is not a redundancy. We have many new beginnings in our lives. We have different times to recharge, to renew. So where are the beginnings in our Sunday scriptures? And what do they have to say to us? Obviously, this Sunday's gospel is the beginning of Mark's gospel. And it brings a story of renewal, of a new beginning. I always say beginnings are important. Beginnings are hard. Think about it. Whenever we start something new, a new job, a new hobby, a new relationship, there's so much to learn. We'll make mistakes and hopefully learn from those mistakes. So it's perfectly appropriate, I think, for Mark to choose to begin his gospel with John the Baptist's message to repent. Repenting is a form of beginning, of a new beginning, of starting over. Every year, the season of Advent, with this initial message to repent comes whether we're ready for it or not. Whatever is going on in our lives, we're encouraged to pause, to experience a season of renewal. This includes a process of accounting, of evaluation. What do I really want for my life? What do I truly need? Do my desires conflict with what I truly need? What's holding me back from achieving what I want and need? These are not just moralizing questions that we should easily or blithely pass over. These kinds of questions, I think, are the keys to real renewal, with all the energy and excitement that comes from new beginnings. And so we ask ourselves the hard questions. Beginnings are hard. We have to ask ourselves some hard questions. Another thing I say is, and you've all experienced it, whenever we're trying to straighten up, first of all, we seem to make a bigger mess. When I'm straightening up my closets, first of all, everything is messier than ever before I get everything properly organized. When we're trying to make changes in our lives, there might be more of a mess than we would hope for or expect. So beginnings are hard, but they're important. Now, Advent, we are encouraged as part of our renewal, as part of a new beginning. We're encouraged to evaluate. We're encouraged to take an accounting. And the church gives us the great blessing of this sacrament of reconciliation to help us do that. This year, I hope that you will think of the sacrament of confession, of reconciliation, as a re-energizing, a renewal, a new beginning, new opportunities, new chances that involves a little bit of recounting. Pax Christi, I will not be able to be there, but Pax Christi has its penance service Thursday of next week. Not this Thursday, but Thursday of next week. Please check the Facebook page, check the web page for all the details about the reconciliation service. I want so much for you to have a sense of renewal. I want so much for each one of us to feel like we're being recharged, re-energized. And I believe with all my heart that the sacrament of reconciliation really helps us do that. Please give it some thought. Please think about how to make that a part of your schedule for next week and for this season of Advent. Beginnings are hard. But that leads us also to our first reading from Isaiah. The passage that you hear has a feeling about it of a new beginning, doesn't it? And in fact, it holds a special place in Isaiah's, in the book of the prophet Isaiah. Sunday's first reading is the first part of chapter 40. And chapter 40 is sometimes referred to as the book of consolation. It's also referred to as second Isaiah. And it's because the first 39 chapters of Isaiah seem to be speaking to the people of Israel and the people in Jerusalem in particular, as they're being threatened by outside kingdoms. And the people and the rulers are not putting their trust in the Lord. And Isaiah predicts their downfall because of that lack of trust. But beginning in chapter 40, the book of consolation, the second book of Isaiah, now Isaiah is speaking a message of hope and of consolation. And it's for people who are now being allowed to return back to Jerusalem and back to Judea from their exile. And so what are the words? Comfort. Give comfort to my people. God is speaking. And God seems to be speaking to some mysterious servant, some mysterious agent. God is not so much saying to the Jewish people that they have to make the way straight, but rather God will find a special agent, a special servant who will make that way straight so that the people will easily find their God again. And as the passage that we heard on Sunday tells us at the end of the passage, that God is going to care for us. Let me read it to you. Let me look down and read it to you. Like a shepherd, he feeds his flock. In his arms, he gathers the lambs. In Isaiah, it sounds like a mysterious servant who's going to do all this work, who's going to make this announcement, and who's going to level the mountains and fill in the valleys so that the people, not just God, will find a smooth way, but that the way for the people to come to God will be made smooth and easy. Well, we know who that mysterious servant would be. We know it's Jesus coming. Jesus makes the way easy for us. Even if confession is part of the way of renewal, part of the way of a new beginning, Jesus makes it easy for us. He calms our spirit as we do an accounting. He gives us confidence, even if we have to share our most embarrassing failings. Beginnings are important. Beginnings are hard. But what blessing they lead to. And I want that blessing so much for each one of you who are looking in today. That new energy, that new hope, that new sense of purpose for this particular and difficult season. We can do these last months that require whatever practices, that require whatever sacrifices, that require whatever efforts. We can renew our commitment to those, and especially with the hope of some kind of healing and of some kind of renewal ahead. And we can see in our renewal of our commitment to our practices of health and safety in the face of the virus, we can even see them as an image and symbol of the way that we will always be able to come back to God, that Jesus always will lead us, give us the gifts of renewal, give us the gifts of new beginnings. So here in kind of the isolation of my home, I have to embrace this sense of beginning new each day. Let each day be a new beginning of healing and growth. And I hope and pray that each of you in your homes and in your lives embrace this season and each day of this season as a new beginning of life, of health, of holiness. So bless you. Have a great week. I hope to be able to see you soon. So bless your week, and let's all continue in his peace.